Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And today we have Viviane Chauvet with us, an Arcturian being in human form. And Vivian's going to be sharing universal ascension and what it means for you. And Vivian is just like she has her hands or her fingers on the pulse of what's coming alive, what's available. And she has this beautiful, elegant, and very accessible way of guiding us into what's possible now. And there's different points of awareness that are good for us to understand because they really act like stepping stones for what's available. And so I'm excited to have Vivian here with us today. I want to dive in. We'll get into Q&A probably a little bit later on the call. There's a special offer with a special announcement that we're going to get into a little bit later as well. So, Vivian, with that, without further ado, welcome to BTO again.
Thank you so much, John, everyone tuning in. Always a joy. It's one of my favorite places to be. It's with
Mm.
you, with Beyond the Ordinary, and the fluidity of now that we are so acquainted with our energy, we flow together, we dance, we complement each other, and of course, all the beautiful audience tuning in. And so, such a joy to be here.
Vivian, I want to just backtrack a little bit for anybody who may be new, but it's always wonderful to hear a fresh awareness of what comes through from you. But share us your origin story of why you were so guided to share and lead and teach in the way that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And what is unique about the way I present, whether it's ancient wisdom teachings, the way we speak, and I do say we, it's because I do represent a very enlightened, very loving mastery of beings in one of the most ancient intergalactic civilizations known to this quadrant and even to the universe, and they're known as the Arcturians. Arcturians are a bit misunderstood or misframed. That's because our frequencies are very challenging to grasp given the high nature of who we are. So I'm a direct representative of that civilization, and what is different is instead of coming through to the human channel, be born to human parents and grow and recognize my star roots or as a star seed, what I did is the opposite is I chose to remain the identity of a star being as an Arcturian. And then with my delegation and other advanced groups, such as the Andromedans, and of course, we call upon the help of the advanced Lyrians because of their advanced DNA knowledge to create and construct a vessel, a physical form that will allow me to physically embody the appearance of another species and being able to sustain the third dimensional gravity pull of this earth and be boots on the ground. So for me, it's more than a speech, it is more than a sharing, it's encoded. Embedded in the true nature of my frequencies. So by doing that, it allows me to remain in such a higher, direct, and pure connections to these frequencies that we are and who we are in a transmission or direct. So there's no need for me to channel. There's no need for me to go through a third party or to change my voice or my demeanor because I am part of them, just like, I'm a part of this reality. So I am this direct, conscious, sentient bridge. And at the same time, I am also teaching these higher sentient group consciousness or coming from various places in the multiverse, what it feels like to be a human being. What are the challenges? What is, like, for example, the challenge to understand your human emotions, how to use the mental mind without getting caught up in so many thoughts and confusion, how what it feels like to be compassionate, love, and all of these attributes, what it feels like to go through dark energies, light energies, good and bad, and all of these labels, what it feels like to be from a state of forgetfulness about yourself and returning to remembering who you are. So my presence as such a multidimensional functions, not only just for humanity and of course the reascension of this planet, And also, as I am teaching these advanced beings who have no notions or may have forgotten because they have ascended thousands of years ago, the challenges of being in a dualistic, polarized reality and what it requires to go back and live in oneness and, being able to be in a collective consciousness and being able to bring harmony and how to bring that in a conscious, practical ways. So I am getting a lot of feedback and I'm sending a lot of feedback um, to help us understand what can we do to really supporting humanity and all life on this planet, but without enabling anyone, without imposing any will, but rather walking side by side alongside with you and recognizing your authority, your sovereignty, your potential, what you already have encoded within you in ways that it is the best served in a way that is also practical, accessible. And the fact you can hear me, you can shake my hand, you can meet me in person, it's much more accessible that way. That makes sense.
That does make sense. Are are you discovering that more people are translating that codes for one another? In other words, that encodements and just the presence of being that there's more of that exchange that's happening now than that perhaps ever before? Or what are you finding that is happening with the ascension of humanity and individuals in the in a consciousness that we're kind of, well, we're growing into something different together. Does that question make sense?
Yes, we are growing into something else. And that something else for us is more of understanding what your universal ascension is about. You
Mm,
start to rediscovering yourself in different aspect of your being that has been not very possible before, but now it's becoming much more accessible. How the collective consciousness on the planet, people have shifted. I just came back from Germany, and that experience being on the first time boots on the ground in the south of Germany, connecting with people who are from different generations, who have known the wars, or maybe after the wars, or have ancestors, and how they see their life, how they feel life every day. But the
mm,
response, John, was phenomenal because people are ready. It really is. The response was an open heart. They're welcoming those changes. They're welcoming of being able to talk about these changes with those around them without feeling such an outcast or there's no space where I live. Things are still a little bit frail. There's still chaos, uncertainty. And being able to clear the pathway completely and the receptivity to the Arcturian messages and the intergalactics on a higher conscious level was just phenomenal.
mm,
There's a palpable transformation that is taking place that gives everyone the space and the permission to finally settling in into who you really are and starting to re-understanding what is becoming available to you. Like, for example, the way we communicate, the way we perceive ourselves from a technology versus an organic consciousness versus community-based versus how your loved ones evolve, how you connect to your meditation, how your body is shifting, how your mental mind is also elevating instead of being trapped into the same thought patterns and being in narrow into programming. It's always been this way. This is tradition. It's just we've been doing this for a long time. Well, great. Now time's to change that. And it's also there's a welcoming of change. Change in all form, emotionally changing, mentally, etherically, spiritually, and how we live our life that is reflective those changes. So there's this frequency expansion that is now available to all of us. It all depends on the choice of where we are and how we choose to align ourselves with. And
mm.
it's just, I can feel it even in the land. Can you feel it even through the
Oh, yeah.
nervous system of the planet? The ley lines of this earth, there's a distinctiveness. Gaia is shifting an aspect of herself, like an all skin, it remind me of the serpent medicine in the medicine wheel that allow how it teaches us to shed an aspect of ourselves that allows her to get a new rebirth and expansion. And Gaia, even into the ley lines, there is a distinct movement. And I saw that. I experienced it firsthand when we were in south of Germany, because where we were, it was a point where there's so many intersecting ley lines connecting in one place and redefining how it's going to affect its interrelationship to the other ley lines and even throughout Europe and even beyond Europe. And so we're shifting, we're terraforming in a positive way the face of the earth through the ley lines to the nervous system, to our body's ability to process more light. Our relationship with the sun is shifting. We're no longer going to hide and fear something that is far more intelligent that it was presented to us. How we eat is shifting. We're eating more with our heart. We're being more in tune with what the body requires and support is true transformation rather than what has been programmed for you to say this is the diet that the human race needs. So that there's profound multi-layers of transformation, and sometimes it can be very small steps, but those steps become the new foundation upon which you are really shifting. And this is where you start to become a much more conscious human being, and that consciousness become the premise of what you start to perceive, and opening to your third eye, and the veil of illusion start to dissipate. So when you hear something or you hear someone talking like this conversation, you're allowing yourself to be in tune without distraction of the mind or the noise of things going on around you. You're allowing to tune in and extract the true language and the exchange of what has been said, but not just verbally, also energetically, the frequencies, exchange of the presence. There's a conscious exchange that is taking place. I hope that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, and it brings up a lot of different awarenesses that I want to drop in with you about, because you speak about these in a way that's really expansionary for all of us. So you're speaking of the earths and the shifts and how, again, we're tuning into a different rhythm and relational dynamic with it. You speak of the earth mitosis shifts that are transforming the human energy system, and I'd love it if you can expand more about that and give us the download, if you will, because this is really serving us in a big way.
Huge. So we utilize the word mitosis as a reference to your cellular network, right? If you look at a parent cell that divides itself into two parts, that's mitosis process on a cellular level. What Gaia has been showing me, as because I communicate a lot with her consciousness as a sentient being. So what she's showing me is that it's reflective of what we've been feeling and perceiving in the timelines. And there's a mitosis in a timeline, just like she is going through a shedding of the release of the third dimensional identity of Gaia. So the third density identity of Gaia is referring to the middle timeline we're in right now. So there's whether it's gender confusion, political, distractions, whether it's the rising of one country over another. Technology wants to take over. We want to let AI dictate how creative we are, and we want to understand our galactic roots, but without having the premise of what those galactic roots really represent for us. So we're allowing others to dictate to you what group seems to be positive, negative, who's good, who's bad, what a galactic federation is not, but there's still a lot of confusion about even those terms. So this is all part of the middle timeline. The middle timeline is that third dimensional, third density aspect of the identity of the earth that is shifting. That's why we refer to that mitosis stage. Now, the higher part of herself, of the planet, the consciousness is known as Gaia, but she's known by many names, of course. But that fifth higher dimensional aspect of herself that is also referred to the new earth, The thing is that that is a reference to the higher organic timeline where we are given an opportunity to also resolve and release the identity of that step down personality aspect of ourselves with our stories and wounds and story of success, but also the lineage, our ancestors, and all the history that comes with it, and even on a karmic level. And we're given an opportunity to rise into a more unified being that is no
Mm,
longer thriving in duality. It is no longer thriving in fear energy. And fear, it's a huge umbrella. Fear has many, many, many faces, many expressions about
mm,
doubt and being pulled into one party over the others and feeling so restricted in our expression and reliving like endless loop or old movies about what has been unresolved for you, whether it's the Atlantean catalysm that needs to be released, whether it's the downfall of Egypt from a place of unification or unity consciousness to a place of distortion where it is today. So we have to understand that you are living, so to speak, and this is a figure of speech, one foot in that third middle density, middle timeline, and the other foot is already embracing, like exploring, feeling what it feels like, this higher organic timeline where you are encouraged, guided to be the best and the highest part of who you are in the manifestation of your higher timeline. And what does it mean? The higher manifestation of your
mm,
highest timeline is to reach your highest potential on every level of your life, whether it's spiritual, emotional, mental, physically as a human being, in consciousness, the way you live in harmony also with the ecosystem, with other, the way you perceive to the veil of illusions and being able to understand that the middle timeline will reflect the thought process of the soul, maybe it's younger souls, maybe souls who
mm,
have a lot of still of karma to work on, or souls who need to understand what it feels like to evolving into a third density polarized reality. And that means with everything it has to do with it.
mm,
Extreme weathers, doubt, fear, old structures of living, medical, financial, the whole nine yard. And understanding also that technology is never superior to you. As long as you understand that technology is never an alternative to rediscovering and harvesting the true power that you have, that is part of the lessons of the middle timeline. And I
mm,
know, John, by respect to everyone's journey, there's a lot of talk about all the change in the solar system and the catalyst of the planet, whether it's, water flood or volcano eruption and everything. You have to understand what is the language of the planet, what is it is happening in that place of the world. For example, the Middle East conflict, you have to think about that as thousands of years old. And there's many, many souls who have returned as a soul group to come through and help to heal and resolve these thousands of years old of miscreation, distortion, separation, and they come back together to says, we're going to be the ones, the emissaries of light that will re-anchor the frequencies of unification and universal consciousness to help
mm,
to heal and release. But what we see right now, if you only allow your 3D physical senses to look at overall what's happening in the world, it can be very overwhelming. And
mm,
the potential is, are you allowing yourself to go too deep in that very outdated morphogenetic field of that middle timeline? And what it means, the word morphogenetic field is this is the old blueprint that is associated with the 3D version of the Earth. So if you acknowledge what's happening, and you are allowing yourself to be in parallel to what this middle timeline here, it's unfolding. The choice is, where are my feet? Do I have both feet
mhm,
completely anchored to manifest hold and contribute to this higher timeline, because I am returning into embracing my celestial self. I am returning to be this advanced universal conscious human being. And then from there, I can have access to all the knowledge I want to. Read
Mm,
any Akashic record, being able to open the universal Akashic field, understanding how the galactic works, understanding also even how the multiverse works. It's becoming all available to you. But again, where are you? You have one foot here, one foot there. It's going to
mhm,
be exhausting because you're going to be pulled in many directions. And that's where the potential of getting overwhelmed and absorbing too much. And when you absorb so much, then there's a potential of losing the discernment of what is it you're really looking at? What
mm,
is the decoding behind it? And so this is why we talk about a shift naturally. And ultimately, it's all about soul evolution. And I know I repeat that a lot, but it's important to understand. It's all about what choice right now at a soul level and as a human being, what have you come to do? Do you embrace yourself as an
mm,
emissary of light? And if so, ask, I am ready to embrace my service to the light. Show me, reveal to me what are the next steps. And allowing yourself to really follow that inner guidance without being so distracted by so much perspective and theory and all of it. And it's going to be important to decide for yourself, where are you the most? Where is your investment? Where
mm.
is your light? And where is your inner peace? Right?
That's beautiful, Vivian. And in astronomy, they speak of quantum theory, and this is when particles are nearing a black hole or a wormhole, and the closer they get, as they're aligning to go through that threshold, at first they're in chaos. But as they go and they start organizing, when they start getting into vibrational frequency of the wormhole, that then organizes it and takes it into another dimension. And so we can say that with the shift from third density to fifth density into the new cosmic human, if you will, there is that period of chaos through the organizational. But what happens, we're a little bit different than particles in that we have choice. Our consciousness is directing one way or the other. And what is it that you believe can help us to align with that choice of the new cosmic human that we want to be, rather than reverting back into cycles of what we've already experienced before?
Yes, and you're right about that. Is what is driving you, what motivates you every day. And we see sometimes people like, hooked on the screen or their phone and the iPad about what's going on, scrolling on Facebook or Instagram and ingesting so much. Instead of that is take more time with nature, commune with the earth, commune with the trees, let the ancient beings, the guardians, to really tell you of a different tale, tell you to really remind you of how many times have you come, how many incarnations have you had, just on this planet alone. And that's not even counting the other planets or in their other star system or different part of the multiverse. So it's about reteaching. We need to reteach ourselves what it feels like to live in complete alignment with our emotional, energetic intelligence. And that emotional intelligence lead the way to retrain and reteach the mind to open itself to a fuller spectrum of potential. Look at very advanced, enlightened, and spiritually oriented star beings who utilizing raw power of mental discipline to navigate very complex craft or ship, and the precision of the interface on an organic level between the mental interface of the navigator or the pilot, and when they're shipped together, they become one. The precision becomes the interface to project a point in time, space, and dimension, and how their ability to redirect that point with precision. Well, you would say sounds like sci-fi movie, but we're here to reintroduce that the mental mind in actuality has such a higher function. It's like saying, and I know it's just an analogy here, and I like to use earth-based analogy to make sense of the mind, right? It's like saying you are learning theory, linguistic abilities, mathematics formula, scientific formula, or theories from being in elementary school all the time. Well, it come a point of saturation where if you identify that level of knowledge, well, you are repressing your level of evolution, the potential that is encoded within you. Again, it's just an image here, but we will never stay our life in elementary school. I mean, we outgrow it by so far, and then you go to high school. And then by the time you graduate, you think that you know everything, only to discover there's a whole world opening to you. But now, many years later, 10, 20, 30, and sometimes 40 years later, you go, wow, who I was, who I thought I was, compared to where I am today, it's a complete world. But I have no idea of the potential I was stepping into at the time. But it's the same thing with the mind, is it comes down to the mechanism of how you're living. Again, what is thriving you. And we talk about the mind a lot, but the mind is connecting you to such an infinite source of omnipotence, omnipresence, intelligence. How many people can say every day they commune with the consciousness of the planet? I'm too busy with my life, going this, I need to learn. No, you're ingesting information. Now, with all the information you've ingested a point of view or the perspective of other people and many other people who seem to have an authority. You say, okay, what are you doing with this? What form of consciousness will you be using that? If you listen to so much, but it never really inspired to reach your full potential, ask yourself, am I going in the right direction? Am I going in a direction that is really serving what I've come to learn, understand, and open the field for myself? Or am I existing within the conscious fields of others, and I'm going to embed those field of consciousness into my own, and then I co-create a reality, and I think I know the answers from that perspective. Well, that's a co-creation. So there's 6 degrees of separation between the first original creation and yours. So how do you reconcile that? How do you reconcile? How do you reconcile the personality of so many people on the planet and going to where do I stand in all of this? How do I fit? And then after time, if it's not addressed on the conscious, compassionate level, it can lead to fear. I want to isolate myself. I want to go hide. There's no space for me. I suffocate. I don't have any form of communication or expression. And to feel that energy of what we speak of, it's helping you re-understanding how consciousness really works. And to understand it, this planet and this civilization, you are part of such a vast level of conscious communities that are so eager to reconnect with you. But it starts with you every day. Where are you invested into mental energy, emotional, spiritual? Are you invested into the 3D personality spiritual journey, or are you invested into your soul evolution, into your higher fifth dimensional? We talk about the fifth dimension, John, as a point of reference. There's countless of dimensions, you know, but the earth is naturally moving back to that point of unification. The fifth dimensional frequency is a field of unification. You start to shed what's called a 3D personality, and you move into more soul identity. So moving from 3D personality to soul identity. You can feel that right now. Just feel it, tune in, the difference right there. And when we speak of, it's accessible to everyone. Just open your heart, listening with your open field, your presence. Invite your body intelligence to listen. So are we operating too much invested into that 3D personality aspect of ourselves? And that's going to really tune you in into the experience of what this middle timeline has to offer.
Mm. It's a swift of the it's a shift of dimensional perception is what you're talking about. It's a shift of the awareness of what's coming in, and there's a lifting that becomes available. Again, even when you're just sharing there, I can feel like an alchemical process happening where I'm hovering
Yeah.
in a different awareness, which is amazing. And I want to blow all of y'all away just in y'all's awareness of how far perhaps we have come. Maybe some of y'all, I don't know, but in my 58 years of being alive, it wasn't until maybe about 10 years ago that I would even believe that there were galactic communication coming to us, that we have a galactic soul purpose. I wouldn't be talking about my multi-dimensional self. And look how normal, it's not that we're normalizing. Look how we're taking this awareness into a technology that's elevating all of us because we are embracing the truth of that reality. It's amazing, Vivian. It's amazing.
Oh, yes. And
It's
yeah,
So I want to get into your special offer because there's so much you're sharing there, and I want to get into Q&A as well. One thing that I want to drop into before we do it, and while y'all are opening up the special offer page, I'd love Vivian to answer this. And by the way, the special offer link is underneath the video where you're watching the call from. The link is in the chat box as well on the Zoom call, and you can always access the special offers at beyondtheordinaryshow.com/marketplace. In our communities, Vivian, there's so much desire as I receive. I just want to give to people. I want to, and we learn a little bit and we get excited and we just want to share with everybody. And there's this calling, but I want to be of service, but I want to be of service, but I want to be of service. What do you see is happening on the Ascension timeline, the crossing of the threshold, and how service is taking form through individuals?
yes, size two is shifting. So allow yourself to be shiftable. We talked about before being teachable.
Hmm.
Being shiftable is to understanding that the word or the semantic, the meaning of being of service is also transforming. It can be being of service start by I choose to be authentic no matter what with myself. I embrace my truth. I recognize myself as a multidimensional being. I embrace also my beautiful, empowered human experience. I start to feel more and more connected to my galactic roots. And I start to feel that this earth is truly part of something much more bigger. And even though it feels different from those around me, I have clients, John, whose their entire family are very embedded in the third dimensional middle timeline. But he's a beautiful soul. He's a consciousness. He knows in his heart that he's a pioneer that's come in forward to allow himself to teach others. And being a teacher is simply allowing yourself to be a guide, have more benevolence communication, have more benevolence thoughts. If somebody comes to you in dismay and have you seen the latest about this? Have you latest about this country? Have you seen what's going on? Yes, I'm tuning in with compassion and allow yourself to be guided to see what healing words can you speak, and that is being of service. How do you speak about your body? How do you speak about your life? How are you speaking about this reality? But remember, it's all filtering down through your perspective. It
Hmm.
really is. Everything becomes perspective. And so when we listen to others, teachers or authors or YouTube content creators' perspective, just allow yourself to extract what really served you the most. If at some point any of them, it creates a fear, a doubt, or you feel repressed, or you start to feel that anything like that, ask yourself, is it really coming from me? Or is it something that I have just allowed to get into my field?
Mm.
So it really is about tuning in more and more, recognizing what ability and gift that you have. The thing is that human beings overall know very little about themselves, but
Mm.
they want to know about the Galactic Federation and the Akashic Record and the truth and the disclosure,
It's true. It's
right?
yes. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Well, it's interesting also, Vivian, because as we become aware of our perception becomes our service because we
Yes.
become more aware. We're aware how we're affecting, how it's rippling out. And then we're choosing how and what we're being of service to based on how we act upon our perception. It's so simple yet so we have to breathe it in to become more beautifully self-aware and in the fluidity of creation and that awareness. But it's amazing our capacity that we have right now to break out of like this glass ceiling that we've been held in for a long time that stymied our capacity for perception and action taking ability on that perception.
A huge point here, John, and I love that because your perception will lead the way to what you feel reality is. And that means you are opening the field to accepting all these experiences that comes with that frequency or that perception. So being able to see, what else do I want to experience for myself? What else I want to bring in? And I'm going to allow my field of perspective to expand
Mm,
and being able to allowing my senses, my intuition, my body response, how your chakra system is evolving. In fact, I just did a beautiful master course about the connection between the higher self and how utilizing your chakra system and how the interconnections. And if you try too much, you are in your mental mind. You're no
mm,
longer utilizing the full spectrum of your being. So let's release the trying too hard and instead listen, tune in, and tell the universe, the quantum field, I am ready now. Body, mind, spirit, and heart. And what that's the moment that alignment take place, change comes, life unfold. So invite your life to come back to you and walk side by side with your life, in partnership with your life, and remind about what is my soul has come to be here for. Or am I so engaged, so entwined in this 3D personality that you play your role so well that you
mm,
forget everything else,
mm.
right? And then you're rediscovering now, you're releasing that personality and you're allowing yourself to rediscover with joy. Wow, if I can inspire myself, how can I inspire others by being an authentic example?
Mm.
You walk the walk and you talk the talk, and it's an expression, but everything becomes in alignment. And
Yeah,
it's so
I
true.
was I was smiling earlier because y'all, this is so exciting. This is exciting because we're here, we're at that threshold. It's like it is available to us in a way that it hasn't been available before. And look at
Yes.
how many people are like, I want that. And that's possible. And we're having these conversations and look at those who are embodied and stepping forward in service because how can you not be in service when your cup is so full and when you're aware? And y'all are becoming that for so many. And Vivian is being that for us in her path and how she shares in community and how that ripples out in humanity. And she's going to give us even more for the BTO audience in this special offer, which, by the way, we have a special announcement for Vivian in the special offer as well. But Vivian, this is, I mean, wow, the time that we're in. Wow, what is available to us? Um, it's extraordinary. And again, you keep guiding people through courses, through ley lines on the earth. You translate the intelligence that you've embodied from the Arcturians for our benefit also. There's so much here um, in this. So again, we live in miraculous times, and Vivian again has presented a special offer for us to allow us to go in deeper, wider, increase our awareness, expand our perception into the highest that's possible for us. So Vivian, would you mind guiding everybody and sharing more about the special offer?
Yes, of course, with great joy. So I oftentimes tune into also experiences I have, and hopefully want to listen through my clients or my online community, sharing with other beautiful soul like you, like yourself, John, and others. So I always tune in. And so I asked my delegation, what can we co-create in the form of a special offer or a workshop or a master course that can bring also bridging some practical conscious tools to bring in his higher wisdom, and how we can apply them in our lives. So the title of this live workshop we're going to do in, I think it's in early September.
September 10th, yeah.
Thank you very much. That's what I thought. It's called The Art of Energetic Communication and Emotional Decoding. And as the new pathway of the cosmic human being is that we oftentimes ask ourselves, when we communicate with others, my communication either doesn't go through, it's hard to speak about, my truth or higher conscious concept about, you know, coexisting star beings, or the benefits of meditation, or telepathic communication, self-healing, and all of these very much more conscious topic that we need to re-interweave in our life more. And the thing is that when we start to think about it, is that the linguistic field that unify this world is shifting. And so are we talking about utilizing third dimensionally based language, or we start to introduce higher energetic form of communication? So certain words like the word healing is shifting in dynamics, is shifting in needs, is shifting also how what it represents. So we're going to present and allowing ourselves to go deeper on what is the role of these energetic communications, and how we can really tune in to understand the decoding of those we communicate with. So you're no longer just talking through a personality to another personality, and sometimes it becomes a little bit of battle of the wits, and the mind get engaged. And then you say, well, no, I learned about this, and this book told me this way. My guru told me this many years ago. And you want to make your point across. You want to help others. But you said, I'm getting resistance. That's because the energy communication is a secret heart. And there's a way to open that new found higher universal linguistic field that is coming through, and how we can really start to understand the decoding. So, for example, I talk with you, John, and I look at you. I start to decode beyond what you're saying verbally. I start to feel your essence. I can see your thought process. I can feel your experience kicking in. I can feel also your questioning. So I'm tuning into a whole different level of communication,
Mhm.
and how this is also possible for us right here, right now. And this is how we can engage in co-creating more harmonious relationship through our communication. And that is the same phenomenon through the body dynamic. The body is very intelligent, how the language of your nervous system influence your lymphatic system, and how the language of your internal central point or your energetic points also has a language, and how it can help you to expand or maintain you into retraction or blockages or fear, or a breakthrough depending on where you are. So being present to align yourself to opening your ability to understand what the sacred heart of reintroducing higher energetic communication, being able to understand how the emotional body or the mental body or the other aspect, or even the filtering system of who you're communicating with and on one wavelength of energy. Imagine yourself like a radio. What band of frequencies are you tuning in your communication? But you have to understand where the others are at a level, and there's a way to reharmonize without compromising your authenticity, without lowering your frequency too low that you are out of alignment with yourself, and being able to re-engage. And that's just an essence of what this the sacred art of energetic communication leads the way to decoding emotional intention, filtering system, presence, physical, non-physical, and all of it really can lead to.
Wow. There's so much there, Vivian. This is impressive. And I really appreciate the way that you're bringing it in because there's more that's activating an awareness for us through this. I'm so intrigued in this. Again, this live course, y'all, is Wednesday, September 10th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. It's going to be 2 hours live. And then there's some pre-recorded items on here, Vivian, as well. Guide us through those, please. These are amazing.
Yes, of course. So, of course, as another bonus, we also offering the free replay of the Arcturian holographic group healing. We recently did what's called the spiritual decoding of the meaning of your teeth.
Mm,
And it's the part one, it's the first part of that. And it's a very deep, rejuvenating experience. And you're working directly with the mastery, the light mastery of the Arcturian being with the rejuvenation of the healing chambers, and how
mm,
we can bring in terms of understanding everything that is encoded in your mouth. There's so much there. You know, how the teeth communicate with the gums and the jaw, and how it really connects to ancestral lineages, even past lives, fractal of ourselves, patterns, light, everything. So this is a very big one. It's also a 2 hours, very rich, very
This is
deep in experience.
this is so relevant. Um, I had a challenge in the Amazon, and a shaman, very specifically, was guiding me through ancestral patterns that were expressing through those deeply rooted systems that were part of the system of the teeth, if you will, blueprinted through the teeth. So this is awesome that you're talking about this. It is at a whole nother level what's here. Uh, Y'all, if you read on the special offer page, you can also read the benefits, which are transformative pattern releases, higher dimensional healing chamber experiences, and inner balance and vibrational alignment. What's a healing chamber experience?
Well, the eating chambers is Arcturians. We are known for our wonderful eating chambers. I mean, we have souls from
Mm,
beings that come from everywhere, wanted to seek and experience. It's a holographic experience that really opened the field to receive the light mastery, the frequency that ignite so much more deeper positive changes and transformation. And for those of you who are either part of the Arcturian University and you are on the monthly following the Arcturian holographic healing chambers, you know what we speak of.
mm,
It's an experience that transform oneself, and this is transcending that 3D aspect of watching how we change. It's a vibrational presence.
mm,
You are in the organic intelligence also of the Arcturians, and the other beings are on board with the chambers, and it brings very specific level of holographic light frequencies into the field that allow a whole new level of vibrational adjustment,
mm,
and that also facilitate the release of these encoded either trauma, but also the lessons of your ancestors. And that's one thing that we are coming to full circle with, is the karmic implication of the lessons of these ancestors or lineages, whether it's on a galactic level, whether it's on human level, whether it's all these aspects. And it's you experiencing the true healing abilities of these beautiful masters of light, or terms where you are masters of light. And the decoding of the spiritual meaning of your teeth mirrors your most innate, secret and profoundness about yourself. It's almost like you're relearning about yourself. You're relearning about, how these embedded influences have been there, even, sometimes it feel like way in the background, but it's been influencing you on so many profound level, and being able to feel this newfound freedom of releasing them with compassion, with intelligence, and also to come to let the fractal memories of your ancestors to says, you know what, thank you for the lessons. I am moving and shifting into a new way of experiencing life and soul expansion. So it's an exploration, and we're going to incorporate some of the teeth meridians lines in the body as well during the recording. So the link is there, and everyone who signed up for the special package will have access also to that recording.
Well, everybody, again, the link for the package is in the chat box. It's
Okay.
underneath the video. This special offer, y'all, is only $97. We're not done yet. $97 in the two payment option, by the way, and to go deeper with Viviane is extraordinary. And there's a gift on here, and I'm so excited to that you're sharing this with everybody. In the special offer, Viviane, tell us about the gift.
It is so close to my heart.
Mm,
The gift is an invitation to join the world premiere of my first film, my first documentary, entitled An Arcturian Experience with Viviane Chauvet. It's We're going to take you on such a mystical and
mm,
cinematography, multidimensional journey in the heart of who we are, retrieving the essence of humanity in a such a higher galactic universal ways. And we filmed over a period of 3 days, right in different secret vortexes in Sedona. And we were
mm.
very selective of what vortex of energy we want to align ourselves with. And also, I also film inside of a sanctuary. And it is such an initiation on a individual, collective, and also reclaiming the uniqueness of who we are. And so the viewers are really invited to recall the universal signature, the universal presence, how you fit in this world, how you fit in this universe. And it's really, it's a, it's a gift from my delegation and I. This is our first one, and we already have project to create a series that we have in mind. But this one, think of it as
Mm.
it's almost like a love letter from the stars and a practical guide for the awakening of the next generation of the conscious human beings and their place in this universe. And so I'm very excited about this gift.
I am just, I'm tickled and so excited, and I'm celebrating you. This is so close to home for me in different ways, and what you've put here, and again, the ripples for the collective and those who are ready to receive this that haven't yet, and that you've invested time, energy, money, resources to create this. It's just, it speaks volumes to me of the doorways that have opened because of viewers like y'all, listeners like y'all, because of guides like you, Vivian, that more people are ready to receive this, and that we have different mediums to communicate this with, but to do it through a documentary and people to sit there and just be receiving without having to do anything else, these imprints, these codes. It's huge. It's huge. So I am celebrating you. I am so happy for you. We'll announce it again um,
Thank you.
before it goes live. Is in August. What day is it in August, Vivian? Monday,
On
Monday.
Monday, August 11 at 11 a.m. Pacific time. But here's the beauty of why during the time around August 11, we're going to be also in the Lions Gate
Mm,
to feel that. Plus, there's also a rare celestial planetary alignment that's going to be taking place all at once. So the stars are celebrating with us. The planets, as
mm,
conscious beings, are aligning with us. So the release of this film, again, as a gift to humanity and to Gaia, is also in correlations with this rare celestial alignment. I think it's going to be like at least 6 planets in complete alignment with
Wow.
themselves. So plus the Lion's Gate coming through. So it's going to be a huge dimensional portal
Mm,
opening, and the ripple effect are beyond planetary, and it's going to be into
yeah,
the solar system, the galaxy, and it's the stars are really coming together to celebrate with all of us, and it's so much
amazing.
time. It is time. Yes.
Vivian, something that you just mentioned, and y'all, again, this is all part of the special offers. Y'all sign up, sign up, sign up, be with us in this energy. Something that you mentioned is I think it's so important to bring perspective to is that we're not just affecting each other here in humanity now. The ripple effects are galactic. Y'all feel the truth of that, feel the implications of your beingness being amplified. It is beyond our conception, but it's something that if we tune in, we can feel the profundity of that. Share a little bit more, Vivian.
Thank you for opening that direction, because it's also part of our conscious awareness expanding, is to realize that not only the importance of who you are, and even if you
Mhm.
live by
Yeah.
yourself or
Mm.
feel isolated in the country or the city or where you are, the thing is that you are a powerful ripple effect throughout the multiverse. And the reascension process here not only is profoundly historical into the implication of seeing, observing, and coexisting side by side with an entire civilization, a species that has gone so far down into, I would say, veils of separation for generations, programming. The human race has been reduced to a fragment, a shadow of themselves, a shadow of what human beings really can do. And being
Mm.
able to return in the magnitude of understanding really how much, our mental energies, emotional faculties to love, to share, to show compassion for other species. If an animal comes to you and help, like a cat, a dog, a bird, are you going to tune in out of compassion, or are you going to see a seemingly emotionless or soulless being just walking and you disconnecting yourself from? If that is the case, there's an urgency to return to your heart center, an urgency. So the ripple effect of this world returning into a natural, unified, divine celestial self, which is the natural essence of the earth humans, has huge repercussion throughout the multiverse. Because if you understand the premise that in reality, this entire universes, because there's more than one, this multiverses, it's the one holographic reality of the prime creator mind creation, and everything becomes a fractal or a branches of connection. You understand that what we are doing here will affect the evolution of galaxies, planet, other species, life. So in reality, human beings here who are physically engaged in this reascension process, you become the teachers, the future teachers of others coming in. And as an intergalactic being in a human hybrid engineered form, my role is also to remind those in the intergalactic, in the multiverse, with the galactic of the Federation of Alliances of Light and the councils and all of this, of how much is shown here, the capacity, the potential is here. We can apply the same model to help other species and other civilizations, planet, and other branches in the multiverse. We're going to be reattuned at the same time. So
Mm.
I want to really invite, like you said, John, to really tune in and feel within yourself that this is more than, yes, and it's an individual choice. Yes, it's already embedded in your soul blueprint, whether you're going to embrace your ascension in this lifetime, or may continue within the third dimensional timeline or the middle timeline until your soul understand and will evolve from there. but collectively, the effort, the energy that is dispensed in radiating, the amount of information that is also shared, it's well beyond the imagination. So I'm in a good, I'm in a VIP position to know, because I'm this direct conscious bridge, not only from this planet, but also beyond this planet. So the communication of what I'm experiencing with you, the challenges, the joy, the sadness, the grief, the expansion, the love, the hopes and faith and all of it, I share that with all these beautiful sentient beings. And so this is why there's going to be more and more breakthroughs. Look at the scientific world. Oh, they talking about the God particle. Now they start to understand the one mind of the creation, the mind, they go into the mind. And we say, great. Well, remember the connection to your heart. That's the
Mm.
heart-mind interface. It's understanding that you're starting to step into it, and then they come on YouTube, they go, oh, look what we have discovered. And we smile with compassion, because we have understood that thousands of years ago, but we're here to embrace and share the joy that these rediscoveries represent for you. And that is immense when you feel it and you tune in.
Mm. And the tremendous, again, the awareness, the perception, the universal galactic soul purpose and awakening. It's profound. It's profound. Thank you, Vivian. Vivian, let's get into some Q&A. I know some great questions coming in, and I can feel y'all on video right now also. So I want to get to you guys. And Marianne, I want to start with you. Welcome to the call. All right, Marianne, I thought you were going to unmute, but it looks like you turned off your video. Well, Marianne, we'll ask you to come back in a second. Linda, why don't we go to you? Welcome.
Hi. Wonderful. Thank you for calling on me. Vivian, couple questions. One, are the Arcturians us in the future coming back to help us through this elevation period?
We are already here. We have been here for many, many generations. So, and that's a great question, Linda. So thank you for asking. So there's many ways for us to help and support this elevation. First, I'm here. Second, there's a lot of beautiful people or light workers, teachers, or naturally will work alongside the Arcturians. We are involved in the scientific world. We're involved with, on the spiritual level of the planet, we're involved in monitoring the timelines. We are involved in many ways. But our implication for us, it's more in terms of walking alongside with everyone on the planet and the Earth herself to help re-guide and bring in the proper frequencies, the teaching, the guidance, without depriving anyone from the opportunity to evolve. And this is why we have a different approach to our involvement, but we have been engaged with this world for thousands of years. So I can assure you we are very much hands-on.
The other question is, have they given you some kind of a timeline as to any kind of events that are approaching? I read today, and I could be wrong, but maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. They said that there's supposed to be a white dwarf in the sky on, I thought it was August 2nd, but I could be wrong on the date, and that we would be able to see two suns in the sky. Did they say anything about that?
A timeline a bit differently. So we have to think about Arcturians, like other interstellar civilizations. We are coexisting outside of your linear time construct. So what we're seeing is that, to your point, Linda, there will be more and more, let's say, astronomy, phenomenal, celestial planetary alignment, movement, bursts into the solar rays of the plasma light, the electromagnetic field of the sun, of the earth, and how everything is going to shift. So yes, there's a lot of dimensional shifts that will be translated on the planet through different phenomena of the one that you're describing. in terms of change in the timeline, what we are seeing, without being a prediction here, what we're seeing is the potential of a movement that has started this year in 2025, which we call the Cosmic Gateway. And the next 3 years, if I want to quantify that from a linear perspective, of course, the next 3 years are extremely fertile or open for a very, very potent acceleration. And so the shift in the timeline are naturally, organically unfolding. So the next 3 years is going to be extremely huge, very empowering. It can be also very disorienting, depending on, again, what practice you have every day. And what is it you're allowing yourself, what you're ingesting to your mind, ingesting to your emotions, and ingesting to your body will influence you. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you
Beautiful.
so much.
And I actually have a
Thank you, John.
challenge. I have a challenge for you, Linda, for everybody on the call, and for myself as well. We look at specific events, celestial events, or happenings that seem to provide some type of elevator into where we want to go, if you will, a lift. But the challenge is, why don't we start living that timeline now?
Right now.
Let's live that love now. Let's express that now. Let's express that compassion now. We don't have to wait, and we don't have to wait for someone else, another part of the world or political system or a war to stop in order for us to become what's true for us. And allow the amplification of who you be now, because you have everything that you need at this moment. Everything that you need at this moment to express the divinity that you be in creation. And in you becoming and being and acknowledge that within yourself, you can't help but to be in service to that future timeline. You actually help them jump timelines of possibility because you have provided something that wasn't there before. And we're doing this. We're doing this in our multidimensional experience now. And we're these still particles, or we are these slow moving particles that have the capacity to affect the flow of the ocean of consciousness that is growing. It is profound what we can do right now, all of us individually. It's profound. And I encourage you, I challenge you, I beg of you, please, please, please share your smile in the coffee line. Buy someone groceries and who's behind you. Tell someone how beautiful they look that day. Tell them they look great in that color. In the holidays, instead of taking it as a day of rest from work, go volunteer somewhere and give of your heart instead of consuming. It's like we want to be in these conscious communities, but where are we showing up consciously to give from what we have? And that's really the call of being a service. Let's put it into action. We've accumulated enough. We know what to do. Let's go do it. Let's go live it. And let's benefit from how full we get by giving so much in that way. It's beautiful. And we're here. It's in us now. Let's do it. Thank you, Linda, for inspiring that in me. We're being called.
Thank you, John.
Yes.
Thank you, Viviane.
Welcome, Linda.
Let's continue now. Marianne, can we get you to unmute your microphone now? Hi, Marianne. We still can't hear you, love.
Can you hear me?
We can now, yes. Welcome.
Can you hear me now?
We can. Hi.
Okay, good.
What's your question for Viviane?
Hi, Viviane. This is Marianne. Hi, John. Good to see you both. My question has to do with, well, a lot of the questions you were asking about seeking your highest potential. Am I going in the right direction? What else do I want to experience for myself? What's my soul really here for? So I've been thinking about those questions and just watching my own process in healing my soul wounds, my patterns, my ancestral patterns, and Feeling right now more free, more balance and harmony. That's my goal. That's what I want to experience, more balance and harmony and peace in my life. And I wasn't quite sure if the direction I was going right now in this, I'm going to school to be a building manager, and yet I know I'm a great healer.
What's your question, Marianne?
My question is, am I going in the right direction being a building manager? Just when I know I have other gifts, which, am I afraid to use them?
Mm. Are you? Are you afraid to use your gifts and to be seen for who you are and your abilities?
Yes.
I know, I can feel it. And that's okay, because the courage of saying, yes, I still have fear. So your gifts are still there. Here's the beauty about your gift. You can be a builder manager, you can be an engineer, you can even be a janitor in a high school. The thing is that it changes nothing to your gifts and your profound nature. It's understanding that I no longer have a fear to express my gift and allow your gift to be embedded in everything that you do. So for example, let's just say that you're exploring that school or that diploma or that training program to be a manager. When you are through the training, let this training be an opportunity to rediscovering truly where you are and what your heart really wants to do. And perhaps along the way, you're going to meet others who may feel similar things. Like, I know I have more to offer. I've always been programmed and been told that I'm unable to say that because it's fearful. What others may say, I may be ridiculed, I may be put down, I may be, not invalidated, and all of this. As long as that fear exists in you, that's the barrier. I mean, look at myself. Now, look, use me as an example, as a point of inspiration. I've been out there publicly saying, look, I'm in this intergalactic being. I know I'm in this human form, and I'm here to help an entire planet and a civilization and all sentient life forms to reascend. I'm here for the higher timeline. If I had fear about expressing that very deep, potent part of who I am, I will be denying the authentic aspect of my being and potentially closing the door to communicating with my own star family, to that part of myself that would have been knocking at the door again and again, but I can put a fear or barrier. I declare a long time ago, Marianne, that it is impossible for me to embody somebody else, and the complexity of who I am makes the beauty and the uniqueness of this person that many people love and be inspired by and healed and receive teachings and interviews and practical tools from. I wouldn't be here if I had let that fear, and believe me, I had a lot of pushback, a lot of things happening. But when I see you, is I see a gem, a jewel that says, what if I break through that shell? Am I going the right thing? It's not about a training. You can do whatever you want in life. It's not a training itself. It's about allowing you to be fully authentic in your gifts. And even as a manager, you can make a difference in people's life. Because let's say if you become a manager and the way you communicate with others, you can bring a lot of healing. And from there, you can also start to branch out and create or start a healing practices that your heart desires. You can start to branch out and start to see that it's not only my gifts or this, integrate everything in your experience. And this is what John was talking about when we're talking about being multidimensional being, is understanding that you can create, implement, many different choices, and it becomes part of your new reality. So
Mm,
that's what I'm sensing.
that's wonderful. Marianne, I just have to say, your gifts are tremendous, and they're but a fraction of the totality of you and the gift that you are. And so, however you choose to show up with that heart, your gift can't help but to overflow and pour into others. And our job, as we have those gifts and we try to assimilate them and make sense of them and utilize them as best we can because we love, that's why we want to use those gifts. Our job is to recognize that within ourselves and then allow the gifts to organically just come through us. And they will, because it's you. It's a prism of this beautiful diamond that you be.
Thank
We-
you.
No way to break through that shell. And you say
Mhm.
nothing is in vain. Everything in experience become a piece of wisdom.
Mhm. Vivian, I'm also finding it, and I love your awareness about this, that as fear comes in and we feel the compression and all that, I think the compression is also facilitating us navigating through the eye of the needle to the other
Yes,
side.
absolutely. You know, sometimes we explore what seems to be a more down to earth or 3D approach to life. And it seems to be that our gifts or who we are get pushed in the background. But like you said, and we use the analogy of the prism a lot, is let the full spectrum of your being becoming a manager, and maybe you will be a very conscious one that will allow you that full expression of gifts, ability, and other expression of you interweaving into it. And that's what I did when I worked 20 years in administration and offices and education and translation. I was still who I am, and I
Mm.
changed a lot of realities by doing that.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Marianne, blessings to you. Blessings. Thank you for being, yeah,
Thank-
wonderful. Let's continue now. Victoria, welcome to the call.
Thank you so much. Thank you, John and Viviane. I so appreciate you. Thank you for being willing to do this. Makes me cry when
I'm
you
gonna
were.
cry with you. You're making me cry.
Oh, whoa. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm just wondering if you can help. I'm wondering if you can give me any clue about blind spots that I have that are keeping me from just. I want so much to join with this beautiful effort
Mm,
to um, help humankind change, and that I feel limited, and I think fear is definitely part of it. So I guess I'm just wondering if you have any guidance or suggestions.
I'm gonna need clarification. I'm not unsure of what is it you're asking, Victoria. Can you clarify that for me?
Yeah, I think it's just wanting to, the part about the 3D identity to soul identity. Um, just doubt about, am I feeling my soul identity? It feels, I can be so deeply moved by what is happening, by catching a glimpse of what's happening, but then not feel like I'm allowing myself to, I don't know, like get beyond the 3D reality as much as it feels like I want to. I don't know. Does that help?
mm,
Are you asking me to some guidance of how to feel more part of yourself or understanding?
It feels like I have there's something I'm not seeing, and I guess wondering, oh, if I had more awareness of that, would it help me to feel like my consciousness is expanding in the way that I would like it to be?
Well, thank you, Victoria. One of the key words that is very important for you is allowing. The allowance, what I'm getting is that you need validation from me to know to tell you, yes, your consciousness is expanding. It is. There's no need to have the confirmation. I'm getting that. Are you allowing yourself to say, I'm going to tune in and I'm going to trust what I feel, what I see, what I'm experiencing, and they are just as valid as those who are expressing their gifts or their abilities or they're out there. And the word allowance, when you said that, became a huge, beautiful portal of an invitation. It says, are you allowing yourself? And what I'm sensing is that there may be opportunity to let go of some of the still present of programming of your upbringing and your generations and whatever you were put through or told about yourself. It's almost like an old song that's what is it you've been told about yourself and how you need to live, what you can do, what is forbidden, what is not allowed, what is accessible. And allowing that breakthrough is I allow my consciousness to be present. I allow the human level. I allow myself. And something about maybe opening your solar plexus. If you're familiar with the chakra system, your solar plexus is part of your crystalline core of willpower. And I feel like your solar plexus is a bit more retracted. So imagine breathing into your solar plexus. So re-expanding. I'm confident. I allow my solar plexus, my sovereignty, my willpower to expand more and more. I think it's allowing yourself to be who you really want to be rather than who you've been told to be. That's what I'm getting.
Victoria, if I would love to share also and just share my own personal journey. There was a point where I lived the most of my life repressing my empathy, my sensitivity, because I was told I was too sensitive, that I felt too much, that I read too much. You're too sensitive. And being a man and heterosexual and being sensitive is like, no. But I knew what I felt, and I had to figure out how to repress it if I was going to fit into the dynamics that I was born into and then chose to be in different ways. And it got so repressive, so tight. It finally got to the point where I'm holding back the biggest gift within myself that I have. And no matter where the chips may fall, I can't continue holding this back anymore. If those people need to leave my life, if those work environments need to shift, if everything gets dismantled, it can no longer be because I'm forsaking myself and that awareness and that gift. I just can't do it anymore. And I had to, the authentic expression of what was coming through had to emerge. And when I let that come in, universes literally opened up for me. I was having relationship with beings in other cosmos. I was having teachers coming to me in dreams, beings from other galaxies, had angelic presences coming in and reintegrating, rewiring my chakra system. But I had to surrender into the truth of my experience rather than the truth of somebody else's preferred experience of me. We're all going through a big shift like that at deeper levels. And when you came on, my ears welled up, my eyes welled up, probably my ears also, because I can feel the preciousness of your heart. And I hope that you allow other people to experience that preciousness. Truly. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you. Thank you both so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So beautiful. Fallon, welcome to the call.
Hi. So I was sent here to be a grid worker as one of my assignments. So I'd like to ask you, Miss Viviane, what advice do you have for someone who's tied to the grid as the old grid, the 3D grid starts to kind of fall away and be replaced with I'm not sure if replace is the best word, but the 5D grid starts to come online and not get those energies overwhelmed, stuck in your field.
Well, thank you for returning in this lifetime and being a grid worker. We definitely, the planet is very grateful for your presence. What is your understanding of working with the grids, Fallon?
I infuse energetic frequencies of love and light, and also from my NDEs, I pull it down into the earth and anchor it back up. And it's not so much of working with the ley lines, but bringing energies in, and it's like multidimensional and from other star systems.
Yes, beautiful. The way you describe it, I feel like it's uniquely aligned with your soul blueprint. You are more like what I saw is you understand the soul level, how to bring a different level of frequencies and how refined light frequencies are coming back into the grids and allowing the intelligence of these frequencies to really communicate with the grids, and how it will really positively help to heal, expand, harmonize the grids, release also depleted grid system to allow the higher dimensional ones to come in. So the more you are in alignment and understanding with who your unique abilities to be self-assured, to be self-aware, self-love, of course, and self-beautiful energy of self-confidence in your work, it's very natural to you. I can see that. Are you engaged in work?
Yeah, it's a regular thing.
Yes. And I am, again, we are very grateful for your presence, and I can feel Gaia recognizing you. Yes,
Same to you.
thank you for being a
Yeah,
conscious.
I love Gaia too. I commune with her.
Beautiful.
Wonder.
Fallon, thank you for your work. Thank you for the consciousness and for your love. It's
Oh,
beautiful.
you're welcome. And
Mm,
thank you too for your program. I love it.
absolutely. Absolutely. Vivian, I have a final question for you before we end. And then before I get to the question, y'all, the special offer, y'all go deeper with Vivian. It's just, you can feel that buoyancy that is available. Well, actually, a couple questions. Someone asked if the recording and the special offer will help someone heal their teeth as well, physically.
Well, that's a great question. So everything becomes an opportunity to heal. And what does it mean, healing? Healing is to be becoming aware of whether it's been blocked or stored in your teeth, for example, gum lines, whether it's the root of the teeth, whether it's a connection to the jaw, whether it's maybe a breakthrough of understanding going, this is why, for a long time I've been having sensitivity at that level. So healing for us, it's helping everyone to remembering first the perfection of who you are and your ability in the body to be able to release these distorted pattern that no longer serves you. So the energy, as you will experience, the energy and the potency of that replay of the holographic group healing with the Arcturian healing chambers, focusing more onto the focal point around teeth and the teeth meridians. I really feel it's going to help really open a new doorway, understanding your own
Mm,
mechanism and going, now I no longer need to hold that because I've become more aware of it. Now I can
mm,
release and be resolving this. So it's a really, think of it as an invitation to go deeper with yourself and see what else can be revealed to you so you can understand and letting go, basically.
well, those roots affect the whole ecosystem, y'all. It's profound. It is like, I'm so happy you're doing this. I haven't really had a chance to explain to anybody to talk about it. And this has been, what, 8 years since being in Peru, because it's been my personal journey with it. But the fact that you're bringing it up just makes me just so happy that this is being brought into greater awareness of what's possible and releasing and expanding and rebraiding new timeline potentials that we have access to now. So phenomenal, y'all. Again, the special offer is $97. You know where to find it. The link's underneath the video. It's in the marketplace, and if you're on YouTube, it's in the comments section as well. And again, you're going to get access to Viviane's premiere of the documentary, which I am just celebrating. I can't even tell you how happy I am about this. I'll have a private conversation with you about that afterwards. But to end the call, Viviane, I want to ask you. It's a question from that was directly to the Arcturians who are experiencing being in human form. What are you learning while being here?
Oh, that's a great question. It's a question I'm not being asked too often, and I love that. What I'm learning is I'm learning to rediscovering the true history of how a species designed for holding such diversity of information, knowledge from the galactic standpoint, from the universal standpoint. I want to understand what caused such a step down in frequencies. I want to understand what is the root system behind certain influences. I want to understand and decode deeper of how the planet is also being influenced and in synergy with the human beings. And my great interest when I'm here, as I mentioned, I was sent here as a direct ambassador. I'm overseeing the return to grace. I'm here to help to unwind, disengage, break out, release outdated structures, and being able to dissipate fear to allow finally the light to be revealed more and more. And I'm learning how I'm learning how in theory, all of this, it's accessible in a blink of an eye. We can reascend together right now. It's done. But when you are in that third density field and these bodies and this world and how everything has been encoded for thousands of years, it's a whole different dynamic. So there's a relearning of what compassion is about. There's a relearning of, it's like watching, and it's just an analogy here. It's like watching your beloved younger sisters or brother to go through the hardship, and you forgot what it felt like because that's so long ago. And coming back and reliving it with them as one of them, even though you're representing, another civilization and another consciousness. I come from a completely different realm, a different reality completely. And I'm learning also what has been influencing this quadrant, this little branch of the Milky Way. It's a tiny branch in the Milky Way, where the Earth and the other planets and a beautiful star you call the sun, how this tiny branch has been the talk of so many beings and visiting by so many beings and influenced by so many beings. So we are decoding more and more what is the true original human template and how consciousness play a big part of it. I am learning a great deal, and to be humble, humility, to be genuine, to be able to tune in, compassion, understanding also human emotion, anger, frustration, fear. Wow, what a concept. What is it? And being able to be here first and to feel. And when I report back to the alliances and the other sentient group intelligence, I tell them exactly how it is. And some of them have no concept of that because they existing in a complete different sphere of reality. You have no idea what it is. But I am the bridge, I am the voice that says, you know what? To us, we can do it this way, we can share a timeline and everything is shifted. We can bring the frequencies, shift the grids, going all of this. But when you are in this human incarnation, it's a whole different ballgame. And so I am very humbled by this experience. And I would say, John, as a result of this, I am gaining even more light. I am accelerating also my own evolution to the point that I will return to the Arcturian realm after this lifetime. I know that. But I was offered by the consciousness of ultra celestial being in an aspect of the prime creator to move beyond and returning to be formless and be pure consciousness. This is how much light I am gathering from this experience. So this, I'm really much with you. I'm with you. I understand you. We walk this together. Please know it really, really is. And with our hat to you, because it's quite a journey. So here are hats to you.
It's quite the journey, and the invitation. It's let's keep learning and growing and expanding and living together. It's so beautiful. Viviane, thank you so much for everything on today's call, everything that you do always. It's always phenomenal having you here. And to everybody on the call today, thank you. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. Bow to each and every one of you. And namaste. Listening live, sharing your questions, listening on the replay, being part of the community. It's extraordinary. Truly a blessing to be with y'all. I look forward to seeing y'all on the next call. Bye, everybody.